Hey, fragrance friends and lovers, how y'all doing today? How's the fragrance life? Sorry, trying to get this chair situated, and I'm gonna be soaked because the chair's soaked. Anyways, I know I'm gonna need to start scheduling these, actually scheduling them out, and so y'all have a notification and a reminder to actually show up. Yeah, if you're a long time Centaur fragrance viewer, if you like fragrance and all that stuff, you probably know that I'm on here 6 p.m. Central Time. Let me try to scoot up a little bit again. How I'm situated here is definitely going to get me rained on. It's been a rainy day today, so. Anyways, everybody, want to see if anybody wants to pop in, have some fun, chat about some fragrance. Anyways, guys and gals, ladies and gents, I do want to see if anybody's going to pop in. I do want to wait to see, but I do have something on my mind, and that's what the title is about. But I do want to see if anybody wants to pop in, share with me your scent of the day, and how you've been doing. I see one person popped in. My scent of the day is Bulgari Man Extreme, a wonderful scent. We are wrapping around to the fall. Actually, yesterday I felt the breeze come in, and it actually for a moment was a little bit cooler. So the fall is already on the horizon, but a lot of places in the world, again, we all live in different places and environments. But we'll probably still have a month or maybe two of summer. It'll still be in the 90s or even hotter here in the south. Especially in the middle of the day. So Bulgari Man Extreme. If y'all haven't tried that fragrance, you can get it for like 35 bucks. I think it's one of the best, very wearable, modern type of vetiver fragrances. It's not a grassy vetiver. It's not a rooty vetiver. It's more of a citrus aromatic vetiver, and I really, really like it. I don't know if y'all have tried that one, but Randy, hey, happy to see you, Randy and Darren. Randy says scent of the day is Royal Water by Creed. Okay, that one's nice. I need to give that one more of a chance. I think my dad has that one somewhere. I need to really test it and give it a fair evaluation for longevity. I think a lot of people have written it off, and when I first smelled that fragrance, I think I did the same thing. I smelled it, and it doesn't have great longevity. You can tell, but it probably isn't as bad as my first impressions. And a lot of people don't know about it. And some people are actually I've seen a few fragrance reviewers call Royal Water by Creed a hidden gem. If you do like very water smelling fragrances, different from aquatics. Aquatics smell more like the ocean, more salty and briny, and they can have aspects of sand or seaweed and all kinds of other stuff. And go on that tropical side of things. Pure watery smelling fragrances actually just smell like water. So Royal Water is pretty interesting. There's not a lot of fragrances that particularly smell like that. So Darren says, sorry about the noise. Good evening, Cedrat Boise. Can't go wrong with Cedrat Boise. Likeable, wearable, and fairly potent as well. Can't go wrong with Cedrat Boise. So, anyways, did y'all have a good week? Did we have a good week? We got to the weekend. I'll be completely honest. I'm the kind of person, and I always let y'all get to know my personality a little bit. I get frustrated if I put myself forward and I want to work really, really hard, and I put myself towards something, and I try to be ambitious, especially if I think it's something simple. Y'all probably think maybe some fellow fragrance reviewers probably don't think I put enough work into my videos. Yes, I do try to keep them down to earth and kind of casual. Yes, I don't put a lot of skits or funny editing into them, and so some people, even though they think my videos perhaps are laid back, they think perhaps some people I've talked to even think my videos are far too serious, because I can make them really straight to the point, really informative, and that's what I want my videos to be about. That's my focus, is to help people really understand and learn fragrance and to not waste their time. But some people come there for the entertainment to connect with a person. But anyways, it took me about 3 hours. 3 hours to make that video I put out today. A lot of people probably don't think that's a great video. At this rate, with how my YouTube video is and how with the algorithm is treating my channel, I don't even know if that video is going to get 100 views anytime soon. But I kept trying to refresh the video. I had to, the description, and to even just to make that thumbnail, even without fancy edits, it took me like 3 hours, not even making the video or preparing or testing the fragrance, just on the computer today. 3 hours to get that video. And that's one reason I kind of decided to do something. And perhaps there's only two loyal people here, but that's fine. Maybe people watch the replay. I'm about to tell y'all what's on my mind. Randy Hader says it's 105 here in California. Well, that's hot. Ooh, that was that was quite the limb that fell over there. And every time I come out here, limbs start falling, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but that was a big one. Anyways, 105. That's steaming. That's hot. Hot, 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 hot. If y'all know, y'all probably don't know what that is. There's an old YouTuber, Tobuscus, and it probably wouldn't be considered very correct these days, but I thought it was awfully funny. Anyways, 105. So what are you wearing in the high heat? Are you wearing that Royal Water? That would work. Certainly would work. Anyways, what's on my mind? Let's get to it. Let's not waste any time. What's on my mind is I realize that the YouTube algorithm is real, and I've always have. But what I also realize is that I can either try to fight the system, or I can either, I can still have my joy in fragrances and also feed, YouTube what it wants. So essentially, what I have decided to do is, maybe start writing more articles on Fragrantica if I ever have the urge to be more specific and more wordy and perhaps a little bit more snippy. Just like, some of the great fragrance reviewers of the past. They can be witty and short and make a 3 or 4 minute fragrance review. It just gives you a quick rundown of the fragrance and maybe is a little bit sarcastic. I love those types of reviews on Fragrantica, and I can be quite good at them. So I'm still going to do, don't worry guys, I'm still going to do videos here on YouTube. But I'm going to, on YouTube, on the YouTube side of things, I'm probably going to eventually start doing 3 videos a week again. I've been doing a video every single day for a year about now. A lot of dedication, a lot of work has gone into this channel. It might not seem a lot. I might seem like a backyard country bumpkin to some people out there, but I put in a video every day. This is like a second job. Hey there, Never Duplicated Fragrances. Hey Solano, how you doing? So I put in the work, I put in the dedication, and when I was putting in editing, I was putting in sometimes 3 or 4 hours into a day into this YouTube channel. So what I want to start doing is maybe 3 videos a day. YouTube seemed to like that more. Y'all seem to, maybe y'all get tired of me. Maybe that's what people want to see. And maybe do a little bit more editing, but also start doing the top 5s more, doing the top 10s. That's what people want. And if y'all want, I'm not copying out. I'm not cheating out. I'm not becoming a sellout. If you want the actual detailed fragrance reviews and you want more of the niche, if you want more of the indie, there's a lot more people on Instagram, and of course I'm going to do some of the reviews on Fragrantica as well. But if you want to see more of that content, you're going to have to head over to my Instagram. And my Instagram is actually booming. I've crossed well over 4,000 at this point. And, I'm at this point, I'm getting, with this type of content, showcasing weird niche and indie stuff, that at this point, and especially in the last 6 months, that was a part of my fragrance journey. That was a part of who I was and who I am. And that was a stage, and I'm still interested really in that stuff a lot. But there was a stage for about 6 months, and everybody's on a different fragrance journey. There's some people who will never want to do what I did, but all I was buying sample-wise was weird niche. For all sample-wise I was buying was like weird indie stuff that almost nobody knew about, dabbling, and things that nobody had heard about. And then I went for some old vintage fragrances. Then I went started dabbling and finding some of the classics, and I've really just been on my own journey. And I everybody has a different approach to a YouTube channel, fragrance channel. Some people are really doing this to get big. Again, I'm not going to criticize some of these people directly, but if you know who they're talking about, there's a guy, and he recently started wearing a suit. And I've talked about why I really don't want to wear a suit, but there is the argument to be made. If you want to showcase status, if you want to show that maybe you're affluent and people immediately recognize that and maybe see you as a more respectable or trustworthy person just because of the clothes you're wearing. And there's people who are starting to do that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to do anything like that. But what I am going to do on this YouTube channel is maybe start doing more of the top fives and the top tens, and maybe start doing something, a little bit more every once in a while that I actually want to do. You know, I do like the indie fragrances reviews and actually sitting down, but I'll actually, maybe start even once in a while throwing reviews like y'all seen of soap reviews. I might actually throw in some incense content, some exploration, some history behind the notes, history behind the perfumers, and some of those other things. And there's one fragrance reviewer who has taken my idea with that just a little bit, not too much. And again, I'm not insulting anybody. It's fair game. Do what you want, and it's a great idea. I wish more fragrance reviewers would focus a little bit more on what the details. And there's so many wonderful things to learn and wonderful things to know. So you're not quitting. Oh, no, absolutely not, Solano. But I have been tempted to. But and again, I don't want to act like I'm a victim, or what's it like a broken angel or whatever slang people use these days. But by golly, it's not easy in this fragrance community. It's really not. You got people who just want the top tens. They want to see you talk about compliment getters and beast modes, and that seems where a lot of people are. And there's people who want you to talk about classic and vintage fragrances, and talk about the cheapies, and maybe be on your own journey. Be true to yourself. But they also don't want you to get even samples for free, or they criticize you for, I don't know. I've had people who criticize me or YouTubers for using tags in the video. And they look at your channel and they see that you're using tags. I'm like, tags are a normal part of being a YouTuber. A lot of people, it's like, how can you be a YouTuber and not use tags? And tags are basic things. I've had people criticize me for my descriptions, and my descriptions are quite normal. I don't even try to play the game with hashtags. I could try to use all kinds of descriptive hashtags, or put my tags and re-put them into my actual description, and vice versa, and try to layer those words and play the algorithm. And there's people who are doing that, and more power to them. But and they criticize you, and I don't understand. I'm making free content out there, content that helps people, content that is a lot of value. And it's like a second having a second job I'm putting out here almost for free. But a lot of people think I'm getting monetized and getting tons of money. I'm lucky if I get $100 every 6 months. At this point, with what I've been doing, I don't even get that. And I'm about to do a big giveaway on Instagram with shipping. And I did a giveaway one time, and one person ended up giving the giveaway, and they were in Europe somewhere, and I ended up sending them like $50. So yeah, I've given away almost all of it. So no, I'm not and this isn't about money. That's what my YouTube channel is not about money. If it was about money, I'd make more money off minimum wage than the hours and the time that I put into this channel. I'd make a lot more money off minimum wage, guys. But you would, but the question you might ask is, why am I even changing? It's not about the money. It is that I do want to give people what entertains them. If I'm going to be on YouTube, I gotta have a balance of doing what I want, which is mostly what I've been doing, and some people would call selfish. But I am a content creator, so I need to have a balance of giving people somewhat of what they want. But every video is not going to be a top 10 complimented list or none of that nonsense, like a beast mode. I'm not going to do that every video. And I see people popping in and popping off. Perhaps they don't even want to hear about this topic. Perhaps this topic is annoying, and that's something they don't want to hear. I don't know. Anyways, hey there, Jose Santo from New Jersey. Happy to see you. Say, I'm fed up with top fives and top tens. I am too. I'm fed up with them, but I don't know what else to do. Darren, this is a heart-to-heart discussion. Let me know, what do you think I need to do with my channel? YouTube community-wise, I've seemed to have caused a rift, and a lot of people kind of respect me, but I also have enemies. I've had 3 or 4 people immediately downvote my video. Very consistently recently. I have a lot of videos who are in the 60 or even 70 percentile of likes up to likes down. So on average, that's really, really low, and my videos have actually been going down a lot. And I know some of that is a reason why is because I can make arguments, and on different places. And I'm not a huge influential person, but sometimes if I talk to people, even if it's not political, even if it's no matter what it is, people can eventually figure out who you are. And if you have a discussion or anything present to view, it doesn't matter what it is. You could talk about a movie trailer, and people figure out who you are. If they disagree with what you said, and they see your comment, they might just downvote my video. So I don't know if that's truly fragrance people who are saying those kinds of things. So, um, anyways, let's read the comments real quick before I say anything else. Hello everybody from New Jersey. I read that. Cyanoxide says, "Hey Ben, got my bottle of Bulgari Man Extreme recently, and your recommendations, enjoying it. It's really good. It's really, really good stuff. I actually have it on my arm right now. It was my scent of the day. It's not a terribly super strong fragrance. It's not gonna maybe grab people's attention from the room. But if you're in somebody's personal space, if you're having a conversation, it's strong enough to get noticed, but it's not pushy. It's not overbearing, and it has a very, very nice citrusy, slightly like blonde, almost like white woody kind of quality about it. It's, in my opinion, one of the better citrus types of fragrances without being an aquatic and without being an Ambroxan fragrance. It's without being a Tonka fragrance or anything overbearing. I think that Bulgari Man Extreme is excellent, and I know I've heard a few people say that's annoying. I don't understand how you could think it's annoying. It's soft, it's refreshing, it's soothing. I love that scent. It's one of my favorites. So $25 for a 60 ml tester, good deal. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, you'd be happy with that. I got the 100 ml, and I don't know if you can find them so much anymore, but they were about $35 a piece. That's what I got mine for. About 35 bucks for 100 mils. So stick to your guns, my friend. You've come this far being you. Your content's great. Oh, you think so, Randy? Well, maybe I won't change anything. I'm just really tempted to. You know, I know everything's not about the views on YouTube, but I feel like if you're on YouTube, you have to at least. I'm not really sacrificing anything. I could just change, perhaps, the format of my views in some way. I feel like I got to change something up and do something a little bit different. All the great all the great YouTubers, even though I'm not a huge YouTuber, I'm a very small fry. I'm a very small person. They've switched things up and even completely changed their style, and maybe even completely changed what they did. And I'm not saying I'm still going to review fragrances. I kind of want to change things up in some way, or do something, something refreshing. I want there to be a new energy and a new I don't know, something to spice things up on my channel. And I don't know what that's going to be yet. Maybe I'm not going to focus on the top tens. I think that the top tens as a focus, and again, I don't know, as far as I can tell, I don't think people actually go into the search bar and search top 10 fragrances all the time. I think that YouTube sees that people watch those on average, and I think that they've fed this loop and created, this greater demand than there normally would be. And I guess top 10s really appeal maybe to the majority of fragrance reviewers who are I meant not fragrance reviewers, fragrance watchers who are maybe newer into the fragrance game. I think that people who are actually wanting to learn about fragrances and buy fragrances for themselves actually are maybe deep into fragrances. Maybe people who have over, I don't know, 20 fragrances. I don't think a lot of them perhaps are watching top 10s all the time. When I got into watching fragrances before I even started my channel, there were top 10 people. There weren't an awful lot of them, but there certainly was Jeremy Fragrance and a few people who were playing that game. But I usually didn't watch those videos. I watched a few of them, but it's not like I love those top 10 videos, that a lot or more than a regular video. A regular fragrance review. I actually prefer the regular fragrance review a lot more than I ever did a top 10 list in most cases. So, I don't know. But I know that I'm not, everybody's different. I might be in the minority these days. It might be the case. So, I just find it interesting. Hey, you been sent to the day's vintage bottle of YSL Le Homme. I don't haven't tried the vintage version. I heard that the vintage gives you it has like 8 hours plus. I've heard that it's quite strong. I actually almost bought a bottle of that fragrance. I think it was for about $120 on eBay when it was probably more available. It's probably much more expensive now. I was tempted to buy it. I think it's a fine fragrance DNA. I do find that I think it's called Oxford. I'll put out a. I'm gonna put out an introduction to the fragrance soon. It's no, it's called Cordovan from the Banana Republic. It's not from this new collection. It was from the previous collection from Banana Republic, in a similar bottle to Black Walnut. So let's see. Gotta go, folks. Headed to the lake house. Have a fantastic weekend, Darren. Have a beautiful weekend. Take it easy. I don't know if you believe in fishing, but certainly have some fun if you're going fishing, my friend. Charlie Brown, happy to see you. How's it going, Charlie Brown? How's the fragrance life? How's the fragrance world? So recently, I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you think about what I've said? Do you have any thoughts? I think you have something to say, everybody. Charlie Brown, I don't know if you heard earlier, but I'm kind of thinking of maybe making my actual niche and indie type of content and putting it more on Instagram. Instagram seems to be much more focused on those types of things and much more interested in those types of things. Instagram is, at this point, it's not become as corporate. It's not become as it's not, a lot of people who are, it's kind of a space where a lot of, I don't know, people who prefer written blogs and written articles, and it's a little bit more focused on the blogosphere type of thing, and they like indie a lot more and niche a lot more than a lot of people on YouTube seem to be more affordable focused or compliments or those types of things. And I guess it's also a factor of what kind of I don't know, platform it is. If you are that kind of person who prefers to read, you like the details, and you like the little nitpick, and something that's a little maybe artsy, and you just want pictures, I guess that's kind of what Instagram is for. And the people who are on YouTube want entertainment, and they want something that's quick and easy, and perhaps that appeals more to the designer crowd. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's just a guess. I'd be interested to see how y'all feel about all this. But again, guys, by golly, it's not easy being a fragrance reviewer. It's not easy to be a YouTuber in general, but especially when this with this is a very small niche. This is a very small group of people as a whole, and it's really hard. Solano, I don't know if you're still here, but by golly, he knows how hard it is. And some people have felt like I've gotten lucky. I don't feel like I've gotten lucky. I've gotten here from my blood, sweat, and tears. It was not an easy day. I was very frustrated because of my internet problems. I have terrible, absolutely terrible internet, or sometimes no internet at all. It's more superficial. I agree. YouTube is it's more of a quick fix. It's more of entertainment. It's more of something that's easy to watch, and you don't have to think about it. And it's more focused on what you see, so the visuals. So, if somebody's more inclined to actually read things and read an article or read a book, and they might be more interested in the Instagram side of things. And again, I think those people are more interested in the Indian niche. So I've been having a blast on Instagram. I've met a lot of wonderful people. I've made a lot of friends. There's a lot of great connections and friendship over there, but it's a whole different type of community. To me, it's more of what the old YouTube fragrance community was, and a lot of people idealized the fragrance community back in the day. And I know that all of us have a different experience with different things, but for me personally, I did want to put this out there. This might be controversial to some people, and I'm not trying to offend people, but back in the old days with the fragrance community, I was watching people like Coach Rob 619. I did find like Max Forte, and I didn't find Robes 08 actually until far later, and I don't know how that is. Again, there really wasn't an algorithm, at least not much of it, especially with the fragrance community being so small on YouTube. I didn't even find. I did find Jeremy really fast. He was, of course, I mean, he wasn't as suggested or pushed as much as he is now, but he certainly was even back in the day. But I was watching a few. I can't even remember their names. I wasn't watching. Wasn't there when it first started with Katie Puckrick. And some people talk about Hero, and I've never seen Hero's channel. I don't know really who he is, and I've never watched his content. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's I when I first started getting into the fragrance community, I never had anybody reach out to me. I never had anybody try to be my friend, particularly. And I got, you know, I have gotten shout outs from a few people, and and I did watch the subs at that point, and that only got me like 200 subs. Most of mine have been grown naturally, very very naturally, the hard way, and especially when I got to 500 subs, I had at that point I hadn't had really any YouTubers, other fragrance YouTubers actually comment on any of my videos. I didn't even know who a lot of them were. I didn't even know that you could comment or be their friends, and I did comment on some of their videos, but I didn't feel like there was much of a community. And to a degree, the communities, I guess, were in the Facebook world of side of things. Maybe that's where a lot of the YouTube fragrance community was, and I really wasn't involved there, and I'm still not involved there really at all. It really doesn't do a lot for me, and how it is. Sometimes it can be nice. People asking questions. Whenever somebody's curious, they're looking for a certain note, a certain style, a certain personality, a fragrance recommendation from a certain perfumer. I love to jump in there. I love feeding and getting involved with that curiosity and that passion for fragrance. But when people actually just want to have arguments for fun in Facebook and find the drama and promote the drama and all this other stuff that I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So, but I didn't even figure out that stuff existed until I was past 500 subs on YouTube, and the only time until I even got to about 1,000 subs, no fragrance reviewer had really commented on my channel at all. Besides, and this is one reason I kind of had such a bad attitude, and maybe I still kind of do in general. YouTube community, in general, there are some wonderful people. I have made friends with some wonderful people, but I guess YouTube fragrance community wise, because I started my own little motto: "Wear what you love." And y'all know this, and I'm not going to hash it out again. But a certain fragrance reviewer went against me, really influential, really big. Nobody came and defended me. And then another fragrance reviewer just popped in and tried to defend the guy. And I don't know if he understood the situation or not. And he just tried to make sure I wasn't insulting him when he was the one who attacked my motto. And my motto had nothing to do with the guy. And I guess he thought it took away from his influence or what he was trying to do. So that's my only real influence. That's my, you know, y'all understand what I'm saying? It's like it's like what your first impressions are. Like a baby. Imagine a baby and its first, experiences with its parents are like abusive parents. That child is going to be very mistrusting and maybe, think that the world and its life is not going to be so great. And I'm just putting it out there. That's been my experience, and I find it very curious. And now people are a lot more friends with each other, but it's more like tag videos. And I don't really want to do haul videos every video. I've seen some fragrance reviewers who are growing very, very big, and they'll do an odd tag video, but they mostly just do top 10s and haul videos. And that works with the algorithm. So essentially, I'm not sure if that's what y'all want. And it seems like that's what people watch, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. If you make haul videos, if you make top 10s, every once in a while you do a tag video. That's like the recipe for success, or getting views. So it's more superficial. I certainly agree. Don't change who you are. You meet me, the one and the only. Yes, Solano is happy to meet you. You're awesome. You're true blue, and I really do appreciate that. So I appreciate your style. It's very genuine and honest. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'll, if y'all are in the comments and y'all are just encouraging me, that's enough. I don't really care about getting the big numbers. It's just, y'all know I'm just expressing my mood. I'm just expressing my emotion. And this isn't negative. I hope that negativity is not what you feel or what you think, because this is not being negative. And some people think it is. You know, some people, when they have these types of discussions and they express these things, it comes from that kind of mindset. But you know, I'm just putting out there how I feel and kind of trying to open it up for food for discussion. So I'm interested to see how y'all feel about me. Maybe trying to find, you know, a different way to approach things. Still be myself. Still have my style. I'm not sure what I should really do. In a lot of people, I did start doing top fives. And again, some people don't like it with me making claims. I've made some claims that some people really don't like. I don't know if I was the first person to start top tens. I don't remember, but as far as I can tell, I was one of the first people to really start top fives. And as far as I remember, I hadn't seen anybody at that point really do top fives, and I don't remember anybody. And I did that for a while. And there's people who on and off will do top fives now and do odd numbers just for fun to make fun of the top 10 list. To do like a top 13, whatever. So hey, Fragrance Journey, happy to see you. What's up, my friend? How's it going? What fragrances have you been into? Anything new on your side? Anything new? Anything new and fun and interesting? I don't know if you'd be interested in it, but I really want to get it. It's a fragrance called Black Hashish from the House of Art Olfacto. That's on my buy list. It's something I'm very interested in, and I'd be interested to see what you think of that fragrance. I know it's not an animalic scent, not really at all, but I'd still be interested to see if you like that, if you would like that at all. Says Mike says, "Nah, man, don't completely change your style. We need people like you to shine the spotlight." Okay. Well, I'll definitely keep trying to do my best. The thing is, again, I don't have to have crazy views. I know that at least it doesn't look like I'll ever get to the point with a crazy views or anything like that, or crazy amount of subs. But do like to see that I'm at least growing a little bit, and I like to see that at least I'm retaining people. And I think I gained like 6 subs this week, which isn't bad. I don't want to put the impression off that I am watching like an owl, like a hawk, my subs. I rarely look at it, but I do. It's just something natural I see, because when I upload things and I onto Instagram or whatever I do, I look at the details of the video. It's there. It's in my face. It's something you can't avoid. Whenever you go and you look at your video, to see, it's there. So I would like to see, maybe if I could keep my personality, if I could keep my what I like to do, showcasing the interesting, the unknown, the unexplored stuff, and if there was a way for me to, I don't know, make it more fun. If I did videos that showcased unexplored fragrances you'd never heard of, and I did a quick overview of like 5 fragrances at once, would that be more entertaining, or do y'all want individual reviews? I'd be interested to see what y'all think. So, don't do it, brother. I'll never fall down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I'm not gonna do top tens all the time, but I'm curious to see maybe if there's anything I could do, maybe a little bit with my style to make things more likable. And I guess I'm just being a little bit sensitive, because I don't know. I would like people to like my content more, but again, I guess the fragrance community really is this small. I guess really the fragrance community is this small, where only 100 people or 200 people at once, if that. If I'm lucky, when I showcase an indie perfume, actually want to see that content. In a month or so, when I review something indie. So it is really interesting. And again, we don't all have all the details. When you start something, when you do something, you don't know how big the community is, and I do hope that maybe I can get more people interested in the niche fragrances, or more into the indie fragrances, perhaps. But I do have to be honest that, just like niche fragrances, I tend to dislike more. Indie than I'd like. Especially compared to designers. Designers are so much more likable. If you're doing blind purchases, they're so much safer. than buying indie. I've only found a couple indie that I want to buy. I bought two of them, and actually, believe it, I won't lambast the brand. I certainly could, but they I bought I had the oils from them, and they didn't really have any alcohol, and I bought their 1 ounce bottles, so I thought they would be just concentrated, maybe pure perfume, but no, they were mixed. They're mixed with alcohol. I don't like the alcohol that they used in them, and I don't feel like the fragrances were concentrated enough, especially compared to when I actually had the pure, the 5 mils that cost, $15. I bought a 1 ounce bottle, and it costs like 60 odd dollars or something like that. It's like, so it should be 3 times as much, and when you buy the little thing, it's like 5 mils or more. So that should at least give me what, like 25, and it's a 30 ml bottle. So why not give me like 30 mils of a pure fume extrait for what I paid for it from this indie brand? But no, it's mixed with alcohol, and I really don't like the alcohol. And I've been tempted to do full length reviews, but I've already mentioned the fragrances. I've already kind of done reviews on them. And I don't know if I even want to showcase the bottles. I will wear them, but I will layer them with other fragrances. I'm not going to return them. Perhaps I could, but I don't know. They're an upcoming brand, but I don't know. I don't want to air all my dirty laundry in front of y'all. I certainly could, but this brand actually wants to have me on an interview on some kind of other broadcasting. I don't know, kind of like a Venmo thing, or like a Google Hangout type of thing, but on some weird website. And I told them, or I scheduled them, and I accepted to be on their schedule. And they told me that they would message me when exactly was the time was, and the day. And I forgot this point. Maybe it was supposed to be today, but it's supposed to be tomorrow. I don't know if they're gonna message me beforehand. I saw the actual post, but I didn't pay attention to it much on Instagram. But they're supposed to message me. So at this point, I don't even know what time it is, and I certainly haven't announced what time it is. And they said, and after the fact that we agreed that I was going to be on an interview with them, what day I told them that I would like to announce it. And then they got kind of things mixed up with how vague they were speaking. And I thought they wanted to go on a live with me the next morning and do a giveaway, and I think that confused them as well, or maybe bothered them. And then most recently, they actually messaged me, and they said that they wanted to like talk to me face to face before the live, maybe to like go over questions, or get things smoothed over before we actually go live, which that's fine. They're not going to vet me or tell me what to say or anything, but that's perfectly fine. Or maybe they just want to have some kind of understanding, but they didn't even tell me what it was about. And I asked them like when, and I do this all the time. I know that some people play around on Instagram and Facebook for hours. I'm not one of those type of people. I jump on these platforms for a couple seconds. I'll look at all the notifications. I'll comment really quickly on something I find interesting, and then I'm doing something. I don't live on these social media platforms. And so when I had left Instagram, they immediately tried to like do an Instagram call, and I wasn't there. And so then when I responded, we had another quick conversation once I joined on real quick. And I asked them like, when do you want to have this quick call before we go live or whatever? And I asked when, and I also want some more details. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like, well, what is this even about? Because I don't know, because they haven't given me any details. And they kind of like put it in my face. They're like, well, if it comes, I don't know if they were intentionally trying to write it this way, but how it come across is, well, if you don't like interview and or I meant get in a quick little one-on-one with us before the actual interview, we'll have to drop you from the schedule. And I'm like, in my world and how I live and where I'm from, you don't change things up after the fact, or it's a betrayal, or it can be a big problem. So you did that after the fact, and then you're not being clear with me, and then you won't have asked like twice, like what's the time. I'm free to talk to them one on one before whenever this thing is even supposed to be one on one. But I've asked like twice, like when, and they only want. I don't even. They won't schedule anything out. I'm like, they could say 6 p.m. tonight, and I'd be fine. 6 p.m. Or like what? Or in 30 minutes, I'd be like, I'd know it'd be in 30 minutes, but I'm gonna pop off. I don't know if you want to do it now, or I don't know if I mean, I have things to do, so I'm not just gonna sit there playing around on Instagram. Yeah, it's I did I don't know that. Yeah, people have different cultures. I consider it very, very unprofessional, and I know this is an indie brand. I won't say who they are. I'm not trying to lambast them. I'm just saying that y'all do not see things behind the scenes. Y'all don't know all these things that happen, and to be on this interview there, and I'm not asking for anything, but they're not giving me anything, and I kind of wanted it to do it on my channel, and I kind of want to do a giveaway to the people who are on my Instagram, and I'm like, why don't we go live on my Instagram and we give away like a sample pack of 5 or 10 samples, and they just like ignore my questions, and I'm like, okay, they just ignore me, but I don't know. And if y'all think I'm greedy also because I get all these things for free, I'm about to do a giant giveaway for my 4,000, or maybe I'll just wait until I get 5,000 on Instagram, just like I did when I did the 2,000 here on YouTube. I'll do a giveaway just as big, where I have like 4 different giveaway bundles, and each one retail wise could be close to $200 in value. I'm going to be doing that again, so it's I'm not going to say who they are. I know that y'all want to know, but the best medicine is to completely ignore the negativity from other reviewers. The moment you acknowledge it, it gives you energy and become instantly a part. Yeah, exactly. You got to ignore it. You got to do your own thing. You got to be passionate about who you are. And I completely agree with you, Cloud-Based Sense. The thing is, again, perhaps people think I'm being selfish. Maybe I am selfish in one way, but I would like to see more growth. And I would like to see what I could do to actually make my content more entertaining for you people. Because, and I'm not saying that I want to become a massive YouTuber. I'm not trying to say that. And y'all clearly see that that's not my ambition, and that's not what's happening. But I would like to see more people get involved, and I'm always curious about what I could do better. I have that type of attitude of always, what can I do better? How can I switch things? And I always have this personality where I'll try a bunch of different types of options. Some people stick to one thing, they're loyal to one thing, and they stand their ground. They have grit, and I can be that way if I think it's the best way to handle things. But before I get to that point, or sometimes before I form opinions, I'll dabble into all kinds of different things. So, hey Ben, do what you enjoy and don't care unless you want the Solovis 2 for you being you. Exactly. Yeah, don't change unless you want. Exactly. Gotta be who you are. Gotta be true to yourself, and can't be fake. But again, I just find, I'm not trying to criticize other fragrance reviewers, but there are some of them who I do feel are somewhat fake, and I don't want to criticize them directly or say anything. I'm not going to mention who they are, but some of them don't come across that original to me. And again, it's not that I'm not trying to be fake. I don't want to be fake, but these people, at least to me, sometimes give me that kind of vibe, and yet some of them have like 150,000 subs, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's this all about? It's like their content isn't anything much better than mine, anything special. This person in particular doesn't really have fancy editing either. Hello, mate. Yeah, hey, Mitch, how you doing? Hey, Scott. Hey, everybody. Hey, Centurion. We got some real ones in here. Y'all know that Centurion's the real deal. Again, yes, I do agree that indie brand was quite unprofessional, and I get treated this way sometimes. And I didn't even try to fight them or argue it out. I did argue it out with a brand one time, and about the only thing I did in retaliation was I did a stories, which isn't even a post. It's not even something that you can find anymore on my Instagram. It wasn't an actual post. It was just something in the stories that something people could see for maybe 24 hours or less. And I essentially just discouraged people from dealing with the brand. I don't want to hash out that story about them, but it's a whole nother story and a whole nother fiasco. They essentially told me that I was the perfect person to showcase their fragrance, and that's all fine and dandy. And then they kept leading me on for a while, and that was fine. And then I wasn't even being pushy. I like waited like one time I waited 2 weeks to message them, and then I waited like a month, and then I waited like 3 months, and it was really really spaced out, and I wasn't being pushy in how and how I spoke, and I wasn't messaging them very often, and it was really really spaced out. But when somebody promises you something and speaks that way, and trust me, where I'm from, in the South, it's like I don't even draw at strings. I don't. But I used to work at a Ford dealership, and if you speak vaguely or take any that give anybody any wiggle room, they'll try to guilt you, and they'll try to get things out of you. For example, people a lot of the times would ask for suggestions. They would actually, essentially they would call on the phone, and they'd be like, my car is acting up in such a way, and and then they would be like, what could be the problem? And when I first started, I didn't think it was a big deal, and I still don't think it's a big deal. If I have enough if I don't know what's going on and I have no idea, I'll tell them that, please come in, we'll diagnose it. If it's a really common issue, and I know it's like one or two, or there's one or two or three possible situations, possibly what's happening, I'll tell them that. I won't give them a price quote or anything like that just based off a complete assumption, but I'll tell them that it might be a couple of these things, and then I'll ask them to come in, and then we can figure it out. But some people, will act and like, try to go get a repair somewhere else, or pretend that they did, or maybe, they will try to come to an assumption on their own, like self-diagnose their car, and then come back and then blame you, and then try to get money out of you, or get you to actually fix it for cheaper than you originally or you normally would quote them. Or if they're crazy enough, possibly get into a situation where they might try to sue you, for the Ford dealership. But then it wasn't anything like that, for with me, how I was treating them, because they essentially, they said I was perfect, and they said I was amazing, and they said they wanted to deal with me, and they didn't respond. And this indie niche company, eventually, like, they I don't know, some lady was having a bad day, or for some reason, I don't know, wanted to just to test me or play with me. So she sends me some whole paragraph, about how they don't need me, and that how I'm a small reviewer, and that I've been bothering them, and that I've done this or that, and it did rub me the wrong way. It was really really strange, and I didn't know why they would say that. And I essentially, countered all of their arguments and told them they were unprofessional. And then they, instead of that person, whoever they were, responding to me, they gave it to the owner of the company and escalated the issue. And then the owner, tried to stomp their feet in the messages and the emails to me, and they essentially were acting like, they were big and almighty, and all this stuff. And one reason also why I even, responded to them, and actually, kind of fought back a little bit initially, is because they immediately like blocked me in everywhere, and they blocked me on everything, and I hadn't done anything to them. I hadn't responded, and at that point, like, said anything negative or at all. So the world's crazy, my friends, and so I just like blocked them back everywhere, and I didn't respond. Maybe I could have kept fighting them, but I'm not. I've said my piece, and they don't deserve a response. They really don't, and I'll never have anything to do with that company. Y'all probably don't know who they are. They're small enough. Almost nobody. I haven't seen anybody ever review a fragrance of theirs anywhere, but they acted like they were big shots, and the owner certainly thought they were big shots, and they've never. They don't have a single review as far as I've ever been able to find on YouTube, and or anywhere on the internet. No blog, no nothing, and I forget how many followers they had. I don't think they had anywhere near 10,000 on Instagram. So it can get crazy, guys. Anyways, keep what you're doing. Try to purchase a few fragrances because of your channel. I'm totally pleased with those ones. Okay, I'm happy to hear that you liked them. Which ones did you buy? I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed them. I certainly do try to showcase what I think is some of the best, and I try to represent them true and very well. And I like your name. It's like you can't fix stupid. I don't know who you really are. I don't know if you're a fellow fragrance reviewer, but your name right there is exactly the truth, my friend. It's exactly the truth. It's if people don't want to be open, if they don't want to understand, if they, you know, if they don't want to be friendly, and it's strange. It really is. The world can be a crazy place, but you just got to keep on your grind, and you have to understand who you are and what you bring to the table. So can someone fill me in on what's happening? Oh, sorry, Rich. I guess I was having a rant there. I was just talking about that there is drama behind the scenes of all sorts. A lot of people seem to like the drama between YouTubers or whatever, and I was just saying that there's drama behind the scenes sometimes with fragrance reviewers, and I don't know of how many other fragrance reviewers, and I haven't heard very many stories, but I was just sharing two quick experiences I've had that were I don't know how it could get much worse with these companies. So I'm gonna wait to see if they want me to still, this one company to have me tomorrow. If they message me randomly, I might not see the message quick enough to be on their live. They might get really mad at me. I don't know what they're gonna tell me, but they said if I don't have an interview with them, then I can't be on the live. So if they give me a link to be on their live, and it's not at least 10 minutes before this actual live is supposed to happen, then I don't know how they would expect. They told me I can't be on there, and they never gave me a time. So in my mind, I'm assuming that they don't want to, or have me on, or I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going to play the game. I'm not. Yeah. Hey Ben, how's things, brother? Scent of the Day's Neroli Heritage by Roja. I haven't tried that one. Maybe that's a Neroli I'd really like. I have a really hard time with liking Neroli fragrances personally, honestly. But I do want to make a really good Neroli fragrance. I do want to make something interesting. But I bet that one's nice. Roja does do a good job, even though, y'all know I talk about their prices. They do. They do smell good. A lot of them do. A lot of them are pretty well composed. Rinhold Everest says, I'd love to know what company this is. No, I'm not going to say who they are. But they are kind of eccentric with their brand and their company. And I haven't really given them a lot of suggestions on how they can improve things. But they've kind of been silent with my suggestions. So I'm assuming that they really don't like anybody suggesting how they could do things differently. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything else. It's funny, and I could grasp at straws and come to other assumptions or conclusions, but I'm not going to. A bunch of nuts there. It's funny business. So I just wanted to give you all a little taste of what's been happening in my life. But again, things are mostly positive though. I recently had a company reach out to me, and they want me to share their fragrances. And it's really exciting. I don't know much about their brand. Nobody's reviewed their fragrances, so that's going to be exciting. I have another brand who actually messaged me and maybe wants me to actually share their fragrances as well. And they told me a story, and I don't know who it is, about how they sent their fragrances to another fragrance reviewer. And the fragrance reviewer, I don't know if they had looked at their brand or knew anything about their brand, or I don't know if they have their logo or their design up publicly. Again, I haven't seen, or I don't know anything really about them at this point. So Anyways, this in email again. This is through email. They tell me that this fragrance reviewer, when they got the fragrances and the packaging, they saw that there was like a design or something to do with Kali, which is in India, which is like a really important goddess. I believe goddess. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean no disrespect. In Hindu religion, and she's a very powerful and very important goddess, I believe, to the Hindu people. And I don't know. I have no idea if this fragrance reviewer was Christian or what it was, but they said that they they refused to showcase their fragrances because of Kali being associated with their brand in some way, because they thought that was a demon or something. It's like, I don't understand how you could, accept a gift and then not, be, this is about fragrances. You're not supported. I mean, everybody has certain religious, or personal beliefs, but you don't even have to mention that. Just talk about the scent. You don't have to talk about what the brand's about. You don't have to even talk about the history if you don't want to, or you could just mention the brand and talk about the smell. It's like it's simple as that. It's so disrespectful, in my opinion. But but there's so much good out there. There's so many friendly people. It's sometimes things are just eye opening. You're like, why would somebody do that? Why would you do that? You have positive energy. Keep it up. I hope that y'all feel the positivity. Again, I'm talking about critical thinking and critical things, and some people have this mindset where that's negative or hateful, and but it's not. It's a discussion, and having a discussion and perhaps being critical of things might can be actually a positive thing depending on how you're approaching things and what you're saying. Criticizing people can actually be a very positive thing if you're trying to lead somebody to improve, be constructive, and you're doing it in a loving way. So y'all know that I'm definitely a positive person. I'm definitely that type of energy. I'm an INFJ. I want to help people come together. I've certainly always been that way. That's why I'm not mentioning these companies' names. I could land blast them, but I do wish that maybe one day we could be friends and we could work things and pan things out. But with some of them, I doubt it. And with some of the fragrance reviewers who are perhaps indirectly or maybe directly, that maybe they don't like me, I certainly wish that we could all come together. So let's see here. Cartier Le Invol. That's a nice fragrance. That's a honey fragrance. I felt like it was kind of dusty, and I felt like it had a really interesting dry honey and kind of like a powdery quality about it. It wasn't for me, but I do respect the fragrance, and I did try the EDT. I'm not sure, but I think I've heard people say the EDP is better, so I do need to try the Cartier Le Invol, the EDP version. I need to get my nose on that. But nice fragrance. Not a lot of people talk about it. It is very unisex. I perhaps would think it maybe works a little bit better for a lady, but it's very, very unisex. A guy could comfortably wear that one, especially if you're comfortable with wearing anything like the Instant de Guerlain or Dior Homme of any sort. A lot of guys these days are going to be very comfortable with wearing that one. So the fragrance industry is growing fast. Some people don't have the best intentions. No, I agree. There's a lot of people who are into it or who are reviewing fragrances, and you can tell that they're not buying samples. I'm not saying you have to do these things, but I think that it's a sign that you're actually a fragrance lover. That you can tell that they're not buying samples and they're not trying out new things, and everything that they show is something that can get views and clicks, or everything that they show is somehow worked into a top 10, or everything that they show is given to them in one form or another, and they're not disclosing that they got things for free. And again, I don't want to be, and I don't know how I should approach this. Maybe in the future, I don't know how I should do, but, and again, some people have gotten really mad at a certain fragrance reviewer. I won't say his name, but I don't agree with everything this guy says, but he has been willing to blast some of these fragrance reviewers, some of them, and there's a couple of them that are getting really, really big, and they almost get no criticism And in my mind, at this right now at least, it's just really one in particular. There's one that's made a couple mistakes, but there's one in particular in my mind, and y'all probably know who it is. I won't say who it is again. I've talked about them, and they're growing extremely fast. Everybody seems to like them. They're clearly getting things for free. They met with a certain brand in Dubai, and they still never told anybody what they were doing in Dubai. They like bragged about going to Dubai to meet the company and such, but they didn't tell us what they were doing with said company. And they clearly showcase, mention their fragrances all of the time, and a lot of them, they're showcasing masculine fragrances that I mean, ladies can wear masculine fragrances. Ladies can do whatever the heck they want to do. I'm not limiting them, but I doubt that this she's wearing all of these. Like, I doubt that a trendy 20-something gal is wearing, I don't know, Godolphin. I don't know. For all I know, she likes it and she's wearing it. Who more power to her? But I doubt that a 20-something gal is wearing out there wearing Godolphin, like a saffron, dry, semi bitter, almost drug like smelling leather vetiver fragrance. I doubt that she's wearing stuff like that, and she's always showcasing it, always talking about how it's good and stuff like that. Uh, Anyways, let's get back to the fragrances. Scent of the day is Gap Mandarin Jasmine. And Replica Under the Lemon Tree. Under the Lemon Tree, even though it doesn't last particularly long, is really, really nice. I don't know if y'all saw my top 10. It wasn't a top 10. It was a Censure Crush tag video. And that was something creative, and I have all kinds of creativity, and that's the kind of stuff I want to do. Stuff that's kind of like fun and creative. But I scented that fragrance to Emily Mortimer, and I don't think she's been a extremely famous actor, but I find her voice super super charming, and I'm a big Studio Ghibli fan as well. And by golly, her voice is really wonderful, and I do think it's a very nice citrus fragrance, very unisex. For certain, but I do, for some odd reason, would prefer it more on a lady. I don't know why, but anybody can wear that scent, and do wish it lasted longer, but it is a good citrus. It is a good one. And I don't have any experience with the Mandarin Jasmine. Honestly, I have no idea. I could guess based off the name, but I don't know. The Evil EDP is what I have low, but it's nice. Yeah. I tried the EDT. I probably should have got the EDP. I had the same experience. So if there's an EDT or EDP version, the 75% of the time or more, I probably like the EDP, so that's what I tend to buy if I blind buy. Back in the day, I blind bought Je Pur by Boucheron, the EDT. It's a great fragrance. It's a hidden gem. It's an amazing scent for the gentleman out there, especially if you like incense and spicy fragrances. For the money and for the smell, it's absolutely gorgeous. Gentlemen, if you want a recommendation for a gentleman's fragrance and something that's refined, a little bit classy, an amazing value for the money, a hidden gem, it's got it all. But I think I would have liked the EDP better. It has a frosted glass bottle I'm a sucker for. And at the time, I really didn't know my taste as well. I was kind of, people said it was super spicy, and I was kind of scared about getting into it. And at the time, I tried Spice Bomb, which is pretty spicy, but I didn't like it. And I know that there were different scents. And I also was worried about maybe some dark green aspects poking out of Je Pur EDP. And I do like some green aspects, but I don't like the dark green stuff that much. More power to the guys who can wear polo green, but I don't like that deep dark green kind of aspects, especially if it's in a fougere when it feels ultra green. But I have to get that Je Pur EDP. I know that I'm gonna love it. I should have bought the EDP one. I messed up. I messed up on that blind buy. So I end up selling it, and I hope the person enjoyed it because they got a crazy deal. It's already cheap enough on the internet, 25, 30 odd dollars, and then they got it cheaper than that and free shipping. So, see, Le Envol 100 ml bottle is spectacular. Yeah, the bottle is a little bit fancier. Some people get worried about them breaking. It's a really thin glass. I have held it and seen it, and it like twists in a little bit with a really thin glass. It does look really interesting, and I would love to see somebody make like a lampshade out of that. I would love to see somebody make like a light, a lamp out of that thing. It would be awesome. It'd be awesome. Maybe I should do something like that one day. See here, I do find YouTubers useful in highlighting obscure brands, and I can do research. I buy some, I don't. The holding company in Dubai that approached Steve from Red Essence has been busy lately. Yes, I bet that they are. And again, I don't really want to comment on that. I really don't know all the details, and some people have said, his fragrances are clones, and some people argue and say that they're not. I haven't smelled them, so I don't want to make an argument on one side or the other. I personally would prefer that, you know, if a influencer of any sort, has something made for them. I wish that they would have enough heart to put not only not do some do a not a little not only a little bit more, but a lot more than just get a brand to stamp their logo or stamp their name on a product. I'm not saying that Steven did this. I haven't smelled the fragrances, but it I don't want to make an assumptions, but it almost comes across this way, and almost like somehow in some ways in how they act. Like I want to know if you make a brand, even if you don't make the fragrances yourself, even if you don't make the perfumes yourself, and you work with somebody has the expertise. You would think you'd have enough passion to talk about the mission of the brand to make a really special, like at least have the creativity to work with somebody who makes art. So there's a mission, and then there's art that reflects that emotion or that brand or the imagery or what the company's all about, and talk about that thing. And I know that not everybody wants to approach it that way in this way, but I would like to hear that whoever it be, any of these bigger fragrance reviewers who've made a brand, where they've kind of exported or worked with a side company. I would like that to hear that they had a lot of back and forth. I know that a perfumer could do a wonderful job, and maybe the first one they send them and say this is our first test batch, and we'd like your thoughts on this one. Is this good enough, or is this what you wanted from your description for your brand? Such and such fragrance reviewer. I would like to think that they would like to nitpick it. I would like to think that they would like to change some things, but maybe they did get it perfect. And I did hear one fragrance reviewer say that there was no back and forth. Essentially the first one they sent him, he was like, "This smells amazing. This is exactly what I wanted. It's perfect." And I don't know. We're all different people. We're all different people. In my mind, I would have liked to think that there was a lot of back and forth, and you worked on certain things. But maybe the perfumer did get it right. Maybe you gave him you were very descriptive. Maybe you gave him all the notes that you wanted, and maybe things just panned out perfectly. But in my experience, almost nothing happens perfectly, especially the first time. So who knows? But I don't want to make any claims about Steven over there at Red Lessons, especially when I haven't tried his fragrances. So I watched The Grave of the Firefly. Oh, you did Cyanoxide. Cyanoxide ruined my whole day. That's a very sad movie. I don't know. Again, guys, this is a fragrance channel, but quick detour. We're going into Studio Ghibli talk real quick. I've talked about cars before. I've talked about all kinds of things, but I don't know if you know Cyanoxide. Look into the history of Studio Ghibli, which I absolutely love. I'm crazy about it. When that movie first came out, did you know that it was a double feature? Yes, Grave of the Fireflies was a double feature. And did you know what there was actually a double feature with? And y'all know what a double feature is, right? It's two movies, like you buy one ticket, or you pay a little bit extra and you get two movies and they're played together, like one after the other. They actually did a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies with Totoro. And depending on which movie theater you went to, it depends on which one you saw first. So some people who went to the movie theaters back in the day saw My Neighbor Totoro, and if you don't know, that's a very happy kids movie. It does have a very serious quality about it. I don't want to ruin the plot, and I don't want to ruin or talk about what's going on, but there are some serious undertones, and it is a very heartfelt movie. But it overall is a very kind of like heartwarming film, and overall, at the end of the movie, it's not everybody's happy. I mean, not everything's perfect, but you're optimistic, and you have hope for the future, and you feel like the kids and the family has really grown through this experience. So, Grave of the Fireflies is the complete opposite. It's essentially a snapshot of focused on two kids, an older brother and a younger sister, who are kind of at the end of World War II with the fire bombing, and it's kind of the end of that, and they're two kids, and they lost their parents, and they have to be, I don't want to ruin the whole plot, but they have to be taken in by relatives who are focused on the war effort, who kind of ignore them, and they're trying to survive, and people are rationing, and there's starvation, and a bunch of terrible things happen, and I don't want to ruin the plot of the movie, but it's not a happy ending. It's absolutely ends up terribly, heart-wrenchingly, and if you actually and the very actually the opening scene, if you didn't understand it, if you didn't pay attention to the details, if you're not a big avid moviegoer, or maybe you're not that sensitive, you might have not really caught on to the first opening scene, and at the very end you see the opening scene. It was like one of those things where it was like almost a flashback, and then you understand that he just had a flashback, and then you got to see everything that led up to this point, and then it's the end. It's a very, and if y'all know what I mean by the end, it's the it's the end. I don't know if you knew that. Cyanoxide, are you still here with me? Anyways, guys, so I find that awesome. I find it absolutely crazy that some people got a very sad experience, and then something very happy, and then something that was very the opposite, very happy to very sad. Yeah, I didn't know that was a double feature. Yeah, look into the history, and I absolutely love those movies. Again, some people might consider them quote unquote and just lambast them and just say that it's anime, or just say that it disregard it, but they're some of the most artistic, some of the most well made, and some of the best movies at all. I don't know, Cyanoxide, you just came across a huge Studio Ghibli fan, so I've watched almost all of them. I've watched some of the really obscure old stuff. I've watched I actually own a DVD of Castle of Cagliostro, Lupin the Third, which is not very common. Yeah, that Porco Rosso is great. My favorites are Castle in the Sky. I do like Howl's Moving Castle, but Princess Mononoke is darn good as well. So, but Castle in the Sky is probably my favorite, and I have a really hard time deciding if I like Nausicaa better than Princess Mononoke. Both of those are absolutely amazing. My dad actually is a big fan of Porco Rosso. Yeah, that one is really nice. So, but anyways, let's get back to fragrances. Unless y'all want me to keep talking about movies, I'm not an avid movie person too much. I don't like cliches, and I don't watch too many Hollywood things, and I really don't like when they insert politics into movies, and that's been happening a lot, and I won't get into it, but cough Star Wars. There's a lot that's been happening, guys, and anyways, I just don't go to the movies very often. When I do, when people convince me to go to the movies, you would think that it would be a good experience because I haven't been to the movies in a while. I usually have a bad experience, guys. I usually do. My mom convinced me to go and see the new Star Trek, and I like the original Star Trek. People, again, I've had some people say, "You're in your 20s, Ben," because I talk about this stuff and how I act, and clearly I'm not a party goer or a free for all kind of doing all the crazy stuff that a lot of guys are maybe do. I'm very sensible. Anyways, it's yes, that's new Star Trek. I couldn't stand it. It's oh my goodness. Let me catch up with the comments though. It says you can't. It says scent of the day. Guerlain IDL, great fragrance. I need to try the EDP. I don't remember trying the EDP. I've tried the IDL. I've tried the IDL cologne. I haven't tried the Sport. I've almost blind bought the Sport a couple times, but I don't know if I'd love it. But it is a good line. The Guerlain line is pretty solid. I do like what they did, but the people who really like the artistic and the creative and the history of Guerlain, of course, weren't really happy about them going mainstream. But I think it's great that these big companies that can afford to. I think it's great that they have they appeal to everybody. I think it's good that they have designer fragrances and entry level niche, and maybe have maybe an exclusive line, some really expensive, really specialty stuff. I think it's good, and I like that when the companies, give everybody a little bit of what they want instead of just focusing on one thing. But we're all different, and people get attached to a brand and an image. Some people, that's one reason it bothered them so much. So, let's see here. I have J Per EDP on my fragrance buy wish list. Yeah, JD Per EDP. I gotta get that one. That's on my buy list as well. It really is. I gotta buy it. So, has anyone tried any fragrances from the different company? I have. If you have, which ones do you recommend? I I want to say that I might have tried one, but I need to try more. That's a company that I really want to dive into. They look like they have some really good stuff. They have one that's called like Un Nuit or Nuit Un or something, and it's like a date night fragrance. I think it has cardamom, but it's like a beautiful, slightly ambery, slightly spicy date night fragrance, and it has like a dark berry, like a blueberry note to it. It's like Amour Nuit or Love of the Night or something like that, and I don't like it when there's too much of a dark berry blueberry vibe, but if it's done right, I could see myself falling in love with that fragrance. Absolutely. The different company does look really, really good, so I'll give it a watch. Yeah. Didn't know it was a double feature. Haven't seen Totoro. Max has them all in great quantity. Oh, they do HBO Max. Okay. Just ordered Tom Ford. Yeah, I got to check out. I'm sure there's some I haven't seen. I don't. Again, I don't want to talk too much about these movies, but and go on to the deep end with something that y'all might just want to hear about fragrances. But there's what was it called? I don't know if you've seen these. They're new, but they're kind of obscure Sinox. Not everybody knows about them. When Marnie was there is good, but it's a little bit obscure. It's a little bit different. It has a very different personality about it, but I do think that's a fairly good one. That one's after Miyazaki was really trying to be the director. I think that one might still have him mentioned Hayao Miyazaki as the main director, but I don't know if he really was the lead director, or maybe he took a break for a lot of it, or maybe he just told them what to do and gave them a little bit more creativity. I'm really not sure, but it didn't really feel exactly as whimsical or as interesting or maybe as well done as some of the others. That one's really weird. And after Studio Ghibli kind of went their separate ways, the new studio, the new film company that most of the artistic talent, they have extreme artistic, and I don't know how to exactly describe it. They're masters. They're absolutely unbelievably, unbelievably qualified to with what they do. They're some of the best animators and artists in the world, especially in the world of again animation. But I think it's called Studio Ponok, and they made The Witch's Flower, I believe it's called. It's unbelievably well done in the drawing department, but you can tell that if Miyazaki was still directing, it would have a little bit, the tone would be a little bit, things would be paced a little bit better, and things would be staged a little bit better, but it's still very well drawn. Actually, it might even be better drawn, and the quality of it is absolutely unbelievably superb. So it wasn't perfect, but it was still a pretty good watch. So I'm happy that I got to see that one as well. See. Anyways, I'll stop talking about those movies. But if y'all want something good to watch this weekend, if you like that kind of stuff, I think Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, and Castle in the Sky are some of my favorite movies of all time, guys. Absolutely good. If you got kids around, they're good. They're entertaining enough, and they got enough intrigue and enough action for you to like them, and they also have enough good messages, and they're wholesome enough for kids. I really dislike it when people bring their little kids to like horror movies, and I'm one of those people. I'm like, that's going to get that kind of stuff into their heads, and what kind of influences are you being on your kids? It's like, oh goodness. I don't go to theaters, but I'm glad I saw Joker in theater before all the crazy stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I do need to watch it. I've heard a lot of people say really good things about it. I've heard that it's a really good, almost like social commentary in its own way. I actually was one of the people who was really negative about it. Not that I agreed with all the political stuff that was going on regards it. It was because I was a person who was really, I like movies who are really true to the source material. I like movies that are really true to the legacy of the characters. And I realize that it might be a different universe or and maybe it's a different spin. And I do realize that even the comic book writers have changed things a lot and had alternate universes and they've and done all that. But I guess I would like to think of Joker and have him the way I like to see him. So that's one of the things I didn't want to see is a character just changed and it doesn't look like it's gonna that movie doesn't sound like it leads into an actual Batman movie, but who knows by the looks of it. And again, I'm not gonna get into the politics, but who knows? I don't know if we'll ever have a real Batman movie ever again because of what's going on and in this madhouse we call Earth. So, anyways, yeah, I probably should watch that sometime. Mr. Davis says, "What's up, Ben? Love Hoktavat or Hasivat. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. You think what do you think of it? I think it's a signature scent worthy. Smell whiffs of it in the air far. Yes, it's actually a very potent fragrance. It's if people like Aventus, I actually and I agree. There's a lot of people who say it's very potent. It's an extrait. Nishane does an amazing job. Nishane is a great house. Nishane is worth the money. A lot of people, I do think that Parfums de Marly maybe charges too much, and some of their fragrances kind of rub me the wrong way. Like from what I've been able to tell and read from other people, pretty sure that they changed Herod to have a cheaper vanilla in the dry down. They changed it up really early on. So some of the people who maybe first got the first bottles, or maybe if they were influencer who got maybe some of the first bottles of Herod, maybe had a higher quality vanilla. I can tell that something is wrong with how the vanilla comes across, and how it and the quality of it. I don't think it matches the fragrance. So I found that really interesting. I actually figured out heard that after the fact that that they actually some people were saying they had been reformulated, and I didn't know that other people felt the same way as me, that something was wrong a little bit with the vanilla and Parfums de Marly Herod. Even though it's a fine fragrance, it's a good creation, and I do think it's a type of fragrance DNA a lot of people like. I think that they did mess with that vanilla, and they used a cheaper ingredient because maybe it was more expensive or harder to get their hands on. Who knows? Something like that happened. Um, Nishane is a great house. It is signature scent worthy. I personally, in my personal opinion, I do think it's not the same as Aventus. It is its own smell. I find it maybe a little bit more lemony, and it's definitely more smoky, and it definitely does smell a little bit more exotic. But and it doesn't really have it smells almost more woody in a way instead of being more like ambergris like Aventus is more supposed to be ambergris like, and there's the oak moss, of course. I do think Hoktavok has oak moss, but to me it really doesn't come through. I think as far as I remember, it doesn't come through very much. But if I don't know, some people like signature scents that are more mass appealing. Some people like them that they stand out and maybe a little bit more unique. I really don't go for signature scents, but I don't know. You do what you want to do, my friend, but I don't know. I would go for something that smells a little bit more different. There's lots of people who wear clones of Aventus and Aventus like things, and it might not smell uberly unique. And it all depends on where you live, though. If you live in a smaller city like I do, you go walk. One time I wore Aventus, and it was a good batch, and I usually don't wear Aventus, and I really don't own a bottle. I just had a decant of a 2013 batch, and it was a good batch. And I know that everybody doesn't care, about batches, and I know, but anyways, people are really impressed. But if you live in a smaller city, but if you live in a bigger city, you go into a fancy restaurant. If you're going to Miami, Florida, and you're hitting up a very popular big restaurant, people are gonna like how you smell, but they probably smelled it a couple times before, if you know what I mean. People probably, if you go to a fancy restaurant in a big city, people are probably gonna recognize Bacher Rouge 540, even though it's gonna smell good and you're gonna get probably positive attention. And some people, that's fine. That's absolutely great. But if I'm spending a lot of money, if I'm putting out all that effort to work and to be able to afford something, I want it to be something unique. Like people are like, that's really, really good, and I also want them to say, I've never smelled anything like that before, or they're like shocked. They're like, what is that? That's the kind of reaction I like to get. So, Mr. Davis says, no one wears fragrances here, and I haven't seen or smelled anything on anyone's store, diners, or barbershop. Well, it's your lucky day, man. Make that your signature scent, and you're gonna have people chasing you. You're some women, not so many men. Yeah, okay, especially when the guys, aren't wearing fragrances. That's the way around here. People rarely wear fragrances around here. If they are wearing fragrances, there's still a lot of people wearing Cool Water. Guys sometimes wear Paul Sebastian. I've actually met a lot of guys who wear original Old Spice. And again, I'm not making fun of them. More power to them. But actually, people still walk around wearing Old Spice. They really do. It still sells. Um, so I find it interesting. People around here really, if you're wearing a fragrance, you might, plenty of people don't even wear fragrances to weddings or parties or graduations or anything around here. If you are, that's kind of when people wear fragrances, or a fancy dinner, or some, an anniversary or something. And a lot of times people don't even wear fragrance then. So if you're the kind of guy who walks in looking good and smelling good, and especially if you're a single guy, it makes a big impression. It really does. And I don't want to be. I'm not trying to feed into that theory that just because you're smelling good that a lady's going to like you. But around here, maybe I'm lucky. I don't think I'm that good lucky. And I've heard some people joke about or try to assert. I've had some experiences, and I don't know what to think. But I am 6 feet tall, and I dress sharp, and I can look a lot sharper and dress up better than a lot of the guys around here, and I smell good, and then I speak different. I don't know. Maybe my southern accent comes through, but I don't think I sound very country, and I really don't like to sound country, even though I'm sure that it does come through, and I talk about some things that perhaps sound country, but. Yeah, around here, if I go around and I dress up a little bit, if I'm wearing nice khakis, a button-up shirt, it's all brand new, or it's all like flat and ironed and crisp. And if I get myself a really nice haircut, and I spray on a really nice modern fragrance, like in this fall and winter, I'm gonna wearing Paco Rabanne's Pure Excess Night. And I don't even go out that much, especially with y'all know what's going on in the world, the Rona. Uh, but still, I mean, y'all know the slang. You'd be slaying. You definitely be slaying. And I don't even like Invictus. I sold my bottle of Invictus, but when I used to wear Invictus, it was drawing attention big time. Invictus draw a lot of attention, and a lot of people don't talk about it anymore. A lot of people seem to have negative thoughts about it. But I mean, Sauvage does work, even though I don't like it. I'll admit it; it does work. And things like, even though if you don't like Invictus, you have to admit, if you're going to make a top 10 compliment list, and a lot of people just move on to the new trendy thing. Invictus is still good. Invictus is crazy, and it has a lot of performance. So. Anyways, guys, I feel like the comments are slowing down. I feel like it's slowing down. How's everybody doing? Have you tried any Swiss Arabian fragrances? Sorry, I think I almost missed your comment. You can't. Big stupid. Swiss Arabian. I don't remember. I don't think I have. I want to actually get into some of their atars, and I know might drive people away as well. I do actually prefer, if I'm going for an Arabian company, especially because I can get a lot dabble and try a lot of things. It's more affordable, and then I can layer them. And I do like atars almost as much as I like a spray fragrance. So I do need to get into some of their atars. There's a lot that I want to buy, but I try to prioritize. Anyways, guys, I feel like the conversation's wrapping down. We've been on here for an hour and a half. We've had a great discussion tonight. I'll be on here 6 p.m. Central Time tomorrow night, Saturday. And again, I hope that this didn't come across as negative, guys. I didn't mean it for it to be negative. I just like to give food for thought. And I do promise you guys that I'll always be true to myself. I always will be true to y'all. I'm not going to be a cop-out and do top 10 list every video. I'm not going to play that game. I don't believe in it. And I actually really... And again... I don't know if I should blame YouTube. I really don't know if YouTube is to blame, or if, I don't know, maybe there are a majority of viewers and maybe the majority of people out there who really do want to watch top 10s. I really don't know. But I don't like having to play that kind of game. And maybe I'm just an old hoagie person or old-fashioned person regarding to fragrance, but I think that there's a lot more value. There's a lot of really important details, and you just really can't understand a fragrance, especially in my opinion, to be ready to blind buy it based off 30 seconds or 45 seconds off somebody giving you a couple quick snippets of that fragrance. You know, just talking about it real quick, and you don't know. You know, you just know some of the basics about it. Anyways, everybody, I wish y'all a beautiful night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful weekend. Be smelling good out there. Hope that maybe you'll find a really good movie. Hopefully, maybe you heard of something that'd be fun. I know that that kind of stuff is not for everybody, and you might think that stuff is childish, but actually a lot of those are very serious, and they're very meaningful. I know that they might seem trivial, but actually, if you are... I don't know, skittish to violence, don't watch Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is very violent and very graphic. So, you know, you might think that these are just childish cartoons or whatever. You know, some people have some other stereotypes. These are actually very meaningful and very important. And a lot of them have some really good messages that we could all really learn from. Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. And some of these movies have amazing messages and really great stories to tell. And I would love for more people. If I was an influence to help maybe one person get into Studio Ghibli, that made my day. That would make my day. So anyways, everybody, and if you know any ladies, if you know any young ladies who like Studio Ghibli, who like what they're seeing, let me know. Anyways, I'll see everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful weekend. Be smelling good. Wear what you love. Y'all know how it goes, and I'll see you next time. Thank y'all for being a friend. Thank y'all for supporting me. Thank y'all for being here for me, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Peace out, and I'm out.